live right now on YouTube, just from that phone with the shitty mics.
Oh, right.
And then this one records with these mics, and I'll upload it later. So I use the live privileges because I just got them, right?
Right.
And, you know, if you're trying to build a following, then I guess, you know, people, hopefully they get used to seeing Thursday nights at 7, because
that's the way to go.
Usually I'm here anyways, because Crowder comes on at 8. He's on probably Christmas break still. And then McInnes comes on at 9. And I'm a subscriber to McInnes. He's the first guy that I actually paid for content. I think he's a fucking scream. Absolutely. One of the funniest guys going right now. And so I tend to watch, like, Crowder's kind of hit and miss, but he's got a real high production value. He's funny. He's got some good skits.
He ran from Sam Cedar, though, eh?
Well, I see. I didn't know these guys beforehand.
Yeah.
Like when they were even when McInnes was with Rebel, I saw a little bit of them, but I wasn't familiar with Compound Media and stuff like that.
He just goes after like high school kids and college kids.
Oh yeah,
and trying to embarrass them, right?
Yeah,
like crazy progressive.
And it's easy to do, right? Because
that's his whole shtick. And so Sam Cedar said, "Why don't you debate me?"
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And so he said, "Yeah." He said, "Contact my people."
Yeah.
So Sam Cedar contacted his people. Nah, he wasn't going to debate him.
He's like, no.
And it became a thing. It was called Cold Feet Crowder. It's a hashtag.
Yeah?
It's a hashtag. Cold Feet Crowder. You should.
You know, it sounds good when all these guys are like, "Yeah, come on, debate me."
Everyone wants to debate each other. What for? What?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want to debate, you go get.
Cool. Yeah.
That's good.
All right.
Everyone wants to debate each other.
Yeah, you know what? And that's fine. I guess if you're trying to educate someone, then I think a debate is good. You know, if the kids are sitting around watching two people debate, I think that's valuable.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think when you get these hosts like Shapiro demanding that AOC debate him.
Yeah.
Right. You know what? If Shapiro wants to debate AOC, she's a congresswoman.
Yeah.
Get yourself elected to Congress. You can debate her every day. That'll be your job.
Yeah.
Right.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Otherwise,
stay in your lane. Yeah.
So are we live now?
Yeah, we've been live since we just went live. Let's see how long we've been live for. Oh, there's no timer on it. We're live.
All right.
We're live. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. A couple bald guys sitting around, bullshitting each other,
right?
Telling each other lies. So, Ben Wilby, thanks for coming on. Chat, when you're one of those things. And as I said to you before we started rolling, thanks for being the bigger man. And just pull that thing up closer to you.
Up closer?
Yeah, like a fist away. Yep. I just want to make sure the audio is good. So, yeah, we go at it online all the time. And I got to apologize because I'm a hateful person. I'll acknowledge it. I don't think many people do. I have some specifically placed hate. It doesn't move too much, but it's fluid a little bit. And I don't know why I saw this coming. But when Trump was elected, I just made a deal with myself. I wasn't going to generate any new hate for that man. And I wasn't going to waste any of my valuable hate that I have placed other places with him. Because I hated Stephen Harper hard. And I was also way more left back then. And so it was easy to hate a guy on the right, but there were so many things wrong with it. And now, I say hate figuratively. It's not really hate because I don't know the people. I don't have a lot of time for Justin Trudeau right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then on social media, it's so easy to hate from afar. And I love you, man. You're a good friend of mine. And then all you got to do, and this is the thing. This is why I stay off Facebook. Well, I don't post, I go crazy on Twitter because I feel like no one knows me out there.
Yep.
And the trolling on Twitter I expect. And I expect hate on Twitter.
Twitter's a place for that.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I get it on Facebook too. But when it comes from people on Facebook, these people actually know me. And then it hurts.
Right.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Like, and I've been trying, and I've been successful at some level of like just saying I don't fucking care, because I shouldn't really care that much. Here's the deal, because if you care about the hate, then that means you care about the love too.
Yeah.
And then you are a product of what people say about you. Who wants to be that fucking guy?
Yeah. I mean, you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
If you're taking controversial positions and you're saying controversial things, people are going to chirp up.
And I don't find...
sometimes I've watched other people do it, and I've just sat back thinking, okay, I don't need to get involved here. Someone else is. And
I don't find that a lot of the things that, like, I don't say many controversial things. Like, I have beliefs that I won't say on Twitter because I don't want it. And I skirt it one. I've been a realtor for 25 years, but I'm actually looking for work. Like, I'm a little burned out. I'm good at it, but I don't like it so much. And if you believe in a higher power, I believe I've been getting messages on the steady to get out. Just everything is a nightmare, and I'm burned out. I don't have. When you're this close to telling your best friends to FO, you know that you're at the end of your rope, and I don't want to be that guy. So, and I'm not passionate. I've never been really passionate about it, and I'm not really been driven by money. So I don't have the drive to go hustle my ass off out there. And so as a result, I run for mayor. I do my YouTube show. I sit with guys like you because I like doing this, and I feel like I owe it to myself and the people around me and the universe to say what I feel, what my truth is. Not my truth. Yeah, what I believe truth is. I guess it's my truth. But I heard Biden say the other day, there's facts, and then we don't care about facts. We care about truth. He said something like this. I'm like, dude, what?
Yeah, like it's subjective sometimes.
Yeah, I guess. So I really appreciate you going, hey, mate. Maybe we should stop sniping at each other out here and get together. And if you want to roll your fucking cameras too, little man. No, you didn't say that, but I get it. And then it's the inference and it's the meaning that you add to it. I get that. Landmark Forum really taught me that we are meaning-making machines. We add meaning to everything. Yeah. Two plants grow up beside each other like this. One dies. It doesn't affect this guy. Because, they're not conscious, obviously, but
we'll come up for a reason.
We add meaning to everything. So you say to me, well, what do you, like, there's this meta, whatever. There's two guys. I think he dresses like the devil. He's somebody's wife.
Mephistopheles.
Yeah. I think it's it must be like a Greek word for devil, or And so if you say to me, oh, there you go, beating up on schoolgirls again, I'm like, oh. He said that. So Megan Rapone, or whatever her name is, I saw
Megan Rapinoe. What did I say?
Oh, well, no, I just saw an interview. So I find it hard to not go to the cringe stuff. I'm like, I don't like her. Right,
yeah,
I don't like her
I had
politics
thoughts about that when I saw it, but I didn't think.
So I clicked on it, and then she's like, "I'm like, and it's like, and like, and then my bike, and I'm like, what are we fucking 12? Like, stop. That's what
she's a soccer player. I mean, you watch any soccer player in an interview that's not, even if it is about soccer, they're barely articulate. If it isn't about soccer,
it's this Mean Girls thing, and
right?
I'm like, and I'm
really,
like, it drives me crazy. I hear it on 610 all the time. I want to pull my freaking hair out. It's just it's just me. So I click on it. So I do this. I'm like, and I tweet this out, right? Well, he comes over and says, "Oh, you're picking on kids again." Picking on kids? Did you even look at who I'm talking to here?
No, she's an adult.
She's 34. She's a world champion. I think she could defend herself.
No, I didn't go there. I didn't go. I saw and I thought about it, and I thought, oh, I thought at least she's white this time.
So, and this, this idea. Okay, so I've come in 1993. I ran as a Green Party candidate, and I ran. I don't need to tell you this, but I was a robot for the Greens. I didn't have an educated debate on capital punishment, on abortion. I just kind of fell in line with what they taught me to say, and that's what they want. Hey, it doesn't matter what your personal beliefs are. You toe the platform. And so I was pro-choice. But, I've grown in my faith, and I'm grateful for that, because I was a cafeteria Catholic all my life. confirmed all the way up, hated religion, class, hated church, hated all of it. Confession, communion, the mass. I'd be looking, I passed out in one of them at St. Alfred's Church, passed out cold at the back. And I've really grown. I enjoy my church now. It's like a Pentecostal. I call it rock and roll pretty church because the first half is like
central, right?
Yeah, it's like a rock concert. The first half,
Yeah,
I call it. And so I got a men's group there, which has done unbelievable things for support. And it's not like we sit around and talk about God. And, well, we do a lot, but it's mostly just a men's group that's based in faith, right? So I watch Crowder. Probably it changed my mind, and yeah, he's debating high school or university kids, and it's not really a fair fight because he's well educated, well researched, he's got all his scripts down, and these kids are half his age and they don't have all the stuff, and they think they have everything, so it's easy to make them look bad. Yeah, exactly. But I realized, and this is why I enjoy talking to a guy like you, because it's okay to have different opinions. I like to go, okay, so let's back up a little bit and find out where we agree and where we split, because if we're talking abortion, we can say, for instance, I'm against late-term abortion, anything after 6 months. Get your shit together. If you can't figure it out by 6 months, you shouldn't be able to get an abortion after 6 months unless it's life-threatening medical procedure. And I think most pro-choice people would agree with that position.
I think that debate can get confused because every country you go to, that's different, right? So you'll get a loud argument from the United States. Their rules are different from here.
Yeah. Well, we don't have any rules. I didn't even know that.
Europe,
we don't have an abortion law.
In Europe, you've got 28, 35 countries. All which there are. So my position on that is, when it gets to the point that the woman is pregnant, it's now none of my business.
If it's my baby, it's my business. Anyways, I don't want to get into that right now.
That's where I stop.
We can get into that.
My point is, if you're not prepared to deal with the consequences of having sex with that woman,
well, it goes both ways. If you're not prepared,
you've got two choices: don't have sex with her, or have a conversation about contraception. Or just do it. Right?
Anyways, so I say all that to say that
I think that's where the man's responsibility ends. And after that, if he's let her get pregnant, because you can prevent that, right?
Sure, yeah. Right. So I say all that to back up to the place of where...
But my other, I wanted to say on top of that, there's all kinds of other scenarios where late-term abortion could be where the mother's life, for example, is threatened.
Yeah.
Right. And where the actual baby is not viable.
No, absolutely.
Right. And it could threaten the life.
Yeah. There's no one's going to disagree with that.
There's always going to be, and there's accidents that happen, and there's horrible cases of rape and incest that, where, you got to have a conversation about that. And I think that really, as a guy, I shouldn't be telling other people, especially women, what they're going to do about that, because I think that is a huge decision that they have to make. I think it impacts them way more. You got a thing growing inside you, and you've got to make a decision.
So I say that all as a pretext to, I'm not 24 anymore. I never really had an educated debate on that. I never really considered, okay, so when is it life? Oh, well, what do I believe? And then I was like, oh, wait a second,
what is
man.
Life? What is life?
I'm more pro-life than I am pro-choice now.
We don't really know what life is, right? We don't.
No, life is simple. Life is pretty
it exists.
Simple. Conception
but we really
is life, dude.
Yeah, but no, we don't actually know what. Is there life before that? What about the sperms?
Yeah.
It's kind of like.
You're gonna,
where does it start? Because those sperms are alive.
You're not going to accuse me of genocide for what I did when I was 15, did you?
I could.
Like, that's mass genocide.
I could.
That's
I could make the rational argument, right? If you're going to go down that route.
Yeah. No, I say conception is
and
life.
Then, every month a woman has a period. Those legs, are they alive? I mean, to me, it's like we don't even have a concept of how life is or what it is. You know, I don't think
science is pretty clear. It starts at conception. As soon as that egg's fertilized, as soon as the DNA becomes something else, that's a new life. So.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I don't really want to have an opinion on it. You know what I mean?
No,
I think that it's beyond...
No, I don't know what you mean, because I want to have an opinion. If I'm with a girl and she gets pregnant and says, I'm aborting it, and I'm like, hell no. I want a kid. Especially if you're in a committed
that's really
relationship.
Subjective thing, right? You do want a kid, right?
Yeah.
And you know, but other people will find themselves in other situations where, you know, shit, I got drunk and this thing happened, and now I got a kid, and it's going to completely screw my life up, and I'm going to be tied. I'm going to be tied to this asshole guy. I'm going to be tied.
Kids don't mess your life up; they make your life.
Also, I'm going to be tied to this asshole guy, right? For the rest of my life.
Stay away from abortion, I think.
Right. You know, so that's why I say I think that it's such a subjective thing, and there's so many mitigating circumstances, and I just think it's ugly, especially when.
Anyways, I didn't go down that road because I want to start off with a. I don't want.
Yeah, way to go with a nice
I don't want to
opening.
start the. I don't really. That's not. I mean, we can. I you know, I have other things that are more. Well, I don't know.
I don't take a religious standpoint on it.
I don't, and I do. I mean, my faith is important to me. All I'm saying is that when I was 24, I had certain beliefs, certain uneducated, undebated beliefs that now, as a 51-year-old man, there's a shift. I want to believe wisdom is, you know, set in a little bit. You know, I'm not ideologically possessed or just a robot, just, you know, going around, oh, this is Green Party stance. I'm like, no, okay, so yeah, it's life at conception. Yeah, no, I'm against late-term abortion. I mean,
late-term abortions, unless there's the mitigating circumstances, obviously. And I think
when you look at the
in a lot of countries that exists, those rules exist.
Yeah, but
24 weeks,
in the States,
20, you know, 20,
heartbeat bills and stuff like that.
You know, so Canada's approach is down to Canada's government, and you know, and I think that debate needs to be had amongst women, and not. I don't think men need to be pontificating on it. I think we need to listen to them, let them argue it out. Like I say, as soon as you've done the deed, if you haven't taken precautions, then you are now your role in this is over.
It takes two.
Right?
The woman has just as much responsibility for not getting pregnant as the guy does.
She's going to have to carry the baby. She's going to have to carry.
So she's got just as much responsibility. You get drunk, you spread your legs, you get pregnant. That's on you. You should have to live with the consequences. Now you should.
What typically happens is often the guys
go take the morning after pill.
You know,
be careful. If you weren't careful the night, then go.
That exists, and that does happen.
Don't leave it for 6 months, 8 months, and then say you're out to here and you roll into a fucking. Come on, man.
But does that happen? What are the stats on that?
2%.
2%
between 1.3 and 1.6% are late term.
Right, and then how many of those are done without the serious mitigating circumstances? Right, because you can throw that stat out, but actually you don't actually know.
Serious mitigating circumstances are way less than that. It's like rape and incest. It's so infantile. It's unbelievable, and so. And then, so I put myself in the position. I'm like, okay, so if you're in a committed relationship or you're married, Crowder filmed a woman that had 2 children. She was 8 months pregnant. She was at Planned Parenthood, and they filmed her with a hidden camera. They were in there, and they asked her, like, what she told them. Listen, I've got 2 kids at home. I don't want to be a mother again. My husband wants the child. And she went in and aborted the thing. And at 8 months, like, I don't even know how, when you're out to here with a baby, how you explain, well, I'm just not pregnant anymore.
Well, that's a conversation they need to have. That's a conversation they need to have. I mean, the fact that
this girl on the Grammys, Michelle Williams, the other day, she came out with this pro-life, the pro-choice,
but
speech.
Babies get prematurely born at that time.
But did you see the speech at the Golden Globes? Michelle Williams, I don't know, she's an actress.
Did she do what?
She came up and she gave a political speech about pro-choice, and she said, I wouldn't have this without choice. And she held up her Golden Globe.
Right. So she's saying basically, I had abortion.
She had a baby afterwards. Like, it wasn't convenient for her to have a baby at that point. but she was this close to tears. Now, that isn't because she's so passionate about choice. She's guilty. She murdered her baby. She's living with that.
Maybe.
Dude,
I mean,
you know what?
Can't assume her feelings.
But you know what dogs do when they lose, when they miscarry, or their puppies get taken from them? They're fucking devastated, man. Human beings are just we're animals, right? We're not designed to have. You can't think that you just end a life that's growing inside you for that long.
I wouldn't attribute the feelings to the dog.
You're just gonna walk away and go, "Okay, I'm cool."
The dog might just be in pain. I feel like shit.
No, but they cry and they.
I wouldn't go attributing emotions. We're really good at attributing emotions to animals, like cats and dogs. I mean, dogs are pretty obvious. Obviously. Dogs should never.
You like dogs?
Dogs should never play poker. They do not have a poker face. All right.
Anyway, here we go. We start right off with we could talk about what else? Pedophiles, free speech. Free speech is one that I'm really cranked on these days. That's up there. Like I was saying, I can't think of anything more important than protecting life. And
it seems like there's a lot of speech out there, though. Right.
There's no hate speech.
No, I'm just saying there's a lot of speech out there. Right, like it's like I don't see any restrictions on people's free speech. Not in this country, and in
dude, if I
States.
misgender you, they take me to the Human Rights Tribunal, and
No,
I go to jail if I don't pay.
I would have to choose to take you to the Human Rights Tribunal. I'd have to be a huge asshole, in order to do that.
Did you know that Jessica?
I feel extremely harassed.
That Jessica Yaniv lost in BC Human Rights Tribunal, for the waxing my balls guy.
She's
transgender. First of all, you want me to call you she? Okay, I'll call you she. But you can't tell me you're.
Who lost, the transgender guy?
Yeah, yeah, they tossed it out.
Yeah, well, I would expect them to.
No, nothing gets tossed from the Human Rights Tribunal. Everyone wins.
Tossed. No, that was ridiculous.
Almost no one loses at the Human Rights Tribunal.
You can't force somebody to wax your genitals.
No, I don't think so.
Right?
I think you're right.
You can,
but
so.
Anyway, Bill C-16, when that came down, I'm like, oh, this is all wrong. And then that left me down the rabbit hole. And, say what you want about him. I've become a huge fan of Jordan Peterson. He taught me about the big 5 personality types. I didn't know. I had no idea that you're born liberal. You're born conservative.
That's an interesting concept.
I've moved.
Got thoughts on that. Yeah.
I've moved. I've moved, but I was programmed to be left. And how
did you get programmed to be left? Because when I first met you, I had you pegged as what you say you are now.
Oh, really?
He's a realtor. He's.
So you saw it, I didn't.
He's kind of obviously, going to be a right wing, sort of center right conservative. That was my gut.
But you've known me for 25 years, yeah.
Yeah, that was my gut talk.
So you thought you just saw an actor on stage when I was the Green Party guy?
Then I find out you're the Green candidate.
Oh.
And I'm like, what? What?
Really?
Is he? Really? Oh, okay, he might be cool.
Oh, yeah.
And then, as time went on, and then now it's sort of weird because you kind of become what?
You thought I was in the first place.
Yeah, what my gut said you were, right? It was like more,
well, that's very interesting, and I'm glad to hear you say that because I want to believe that.
I don't understand how you became indoctrinated, though, or you think you were indoctrinated.
Oh yeah,
you took that Green Party candidacy.
I think, yeah, I know.
You just stepped up to somebody who wanted somebody. And yeah, they had a platform.
I thought it was really important to represent the Greens, and I was Green long before it was cool. Now it's cool and trendy.
So what motivated you to be a Green?
Because it was the right thing to do, man. Because people have to stand up for the earth and for people and for the underprivileged and for women. Well, I don't say women so much anymore because I don't feel like we oppress women. We don't. Yeah, there might be some systemic stuff that goes on, but
it's a lot of areas. I mean, it depends where you go.
And the Big Five, I think, explains a lot because women have a tendency; they give birth, and so after I started, so what started coming up for me is all these false narratives that I got to be aware of. One, there's no gender pay gap. Women are making more money than men are before 35. and then they go out of the workforce when they have babies.
Well,
this whole idea, and
you can
so
look
I
at
just
that, but then
I
there is
fell for it
evidence
though.
that
I fell for it.
No, but that's just a
and I
narrative,
championed it,
though, isn't it?
I championed it,
It's a
and I'm
narrative.
embarrassed that I championed
There
a
is-
lie.
I can see a gender pay gap. I see it, right? I see it all the time. My job, I do. I don't want to get into that, but one of the things I see is women leaving the workforce and coming back into the workforce, and what that does to them. Whether that job still exists, maternity leaves and things like that. Things have improved in that.
But that's a personal choice to have a baby, though.
We now have like a longer paternity leave period,
Mm-hmm.
which means that they can both share it. And I've seen some great situations where husband and wife share that. But there's still, a lot of the parenting needs to be done. I've seen a lot of women come back from full-time employment, have a baby, take part-time employment, right?
Duh.
Because
Duh.
they're charged with the majority of the caregiving and support of the child.
Well, I mean, you could get an nanny
So,
if you wanted
to
to.
sort of say that's not happening isn't true, right? There is a gender pay gap for some, right? And for some there isn't. They're lucky that there isn't, right? Some people aren't affected so much by a gender pay gap or don't care so much. But I've seen it. I don't know if what I haven't looked at any stats, but I've heard that right-wing narrative that it doesn't exist.
Well, no, it
I
just
think,
means
I
that
think
it's
that
explainable.
as somebody who is working right on the front line of where these things come to light, I see it all the time. I see people making choices that cause them to now or have to earn less.
Anyways, the point I'm making is I championed, in my opinion, a false narrative.
Right.
The gender pay gap's not 26% less than men right across
I don't know what
the
the
board.
number
There's
is.
all
That's a
kinds,
big number.
There's all kinds of factors that come in. One, they're the basic child. They have to leave. Like, men don't have to. Dude, when I have a baby, I'm at work the next day. Women take 9 months, a year off to. Who doesn't want to be with their baby? Who wants to go to work after you had a baby?
Yeah,
Because
but
they're women.
That's fine.
So that's one.
Right? Yeah.
The next one for me, Black Lives Matter. Okay?
Is that still a thing?
Oh, yeah. It's a huge. Well, what do you think Colin Kaepernick is?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Kneeling on the
Yeah,
sidelines.
I know, but it's not like it's big in the news right now. I mean, it's kind of gone off the boil.
Colin Kaepernick still championed this idea that white cops are indiscriminately and disproportionately gunning down black kids. It's not true. The facts don't bear it
Depends
out.
where you get facts from, right?
How about the
Depends where you get
FBI?
facts
How
from.
about the crime? How about the
So
the
let's hear
Justice
numbers.
Department?
Let's hear the stats. I mean, I would argue that he's right.
He's not.
There you go.
I've done the work.
You're telling me he's not. I would argue that he's not, and I would discuss
He's wrong,
it.
and
I would.
trust me, he's wrong. You got more of a chance getting shot as a white man by a cop than you do as a black man.
Because there's more white men in the United States.
Yes.
Those stats that they come at you with. Oh, look, more white on white crime, or more black on black crime, and all this kind of stuff are completely bogus because they're twisted. There's lies, damn lies, and there's
Dude, they're
statistics.
13% of the population. They're 13% of the. What are they? 13% of the population in the States? Yeah.
I wouldn't know the
Black.
number, but
It's
that
13%.
sounds close. I wouldn't know.
And they're, 60% of the murderers? 60% of the murders? Black people are killing other black people. That's the stat. Anyways, you want to get in deeply, we can look up the stats.
Well, you can look at white on white crime, right? It's there, right?
Oh, sure.
And it's much larger because there's more.
No, it's more black on white crime, more black on black crime. There's more black crime for whatever. Yeah. Here's the thing. Okay, so you know what? Okay, you want to talk about some serious.
And then you got to look at also why might there be more black on black crime?
Fatherlessness.
What other reasons could there be apart rather than just absent fathers?
But that is the
Why are the fathers absent?
welfare.
Really?
Yeah. To get welfare in the States,
What's the rate of
85%.
of incarceration for black men in the States?
85% of black families are fatherless.
How many of those fathers are in jail?
Yeah.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because the courts are rigged?
No, because those cops are indiscriminate.
Wrong.
See, again, you disagree. And you're getting your facts from sources that are...
FBI is a pretty good source, right?
Yeah, but you can take that
Federal
data and then
Bureau of Justice?
then you can twist it any way you want.
No, you
got to
can't.
look at
facts
the
are
data,
facts, dude.
You know? And
Facts are facts.
there are...
Here's the facts. There's more black people in the jails than there are white people in the jails. Disproportionately, more crime is done by black people.
It's like slavery never ended, right? We got them in there making license plates. We got them in there making all kinds of stuff, right?
Slavery
all
ended.
kinds of work in there for us.
Slavery ended,
right?
dude.
Generational. It is. Yeah.
Anyway, I got educated. I wasn't before. I was just a programmed robot. And I was ideologically possessed to be that guy. And it was fine. I was happy as that guy. But if you had to ask me to debate those facts, then I could. Well, you've seen me debate. I'm okay.
I know you're good at it.
But I couldn't.
Because you learn the issues.
But I could never back that up with stats. Not the things I'm talking about now. You know?
Yeah.
And so when I learned, Ben, that, well, I've always known that I'm loyal. Okay, I know that because I've been a Flyer fan since I was this big. I have never changed teams. I still kind of consider myself I'm kind of loyal to Remax because I was there for so long. My mother was there. I'm a Coldwell banker now, and I love my joint, and I got a good broker and a great office and all that kind of stuff. But I have this fondness. I feel loyal to Remax. Still. And that's fine. All my family, they're family to me because I spent so much time there. And now I'm coming up. I'll probably be 10 years almost now at Coldwell Banker. Yeah. I didn't realize that it also meant that I was loyal to my beliefs. And when I did research on it, I'm like, oh, Black Lives Matter was founded on a lie? Oh, that's sad. And I've been out there defending this position for how long? I feel bad about myself. And then, and Peterson said this, and I just learned this recently. Like, I did a deep dive into Peterson for about a year and a half. I watched everything. I'm fascinated by psychology. And
I think Peterson should focus on clinical psychology.
Oh, he's brilliant.
As soon as he steps outside of that, starts talking about politics,
or he
starts talking about religion, he's way out of his lane. And he starts talking nonsense. I've heard him talking about his clinical psychology work, and he's really
it's all psychological significance.
That's his area of expertise.
So what's wrong with
But when he starts stepping, because now he's getting into his opinions, and he's using his standing as a clinical psychologist to back up some really hokey stuff that he comes out with when it comes to religion and politics.
I like the psychological significance of the Bible stories. I think it's fascinating. Anyway,
there's all kinds of stuff
just said, and I've laid off, like I did my deep dive and I got the information I needed to, and then I'll go back once in a while. And if you ever, like one of my favorite stories is Walking with God, Noah. And like the thing that stuck with me about this thing is like, and this is so common sense. This is things we know already. He just said something simple. It's like, if you just make yourself 1% better a day, you compound that, and in 90 days, you won't recognize your life. And 10 years from now, you'll be so significantly better and happier and wealthier and all these things. Because we're not really good at getting what we want. Let's face it, we're pretty broken. We love our booze, and we love our sin, and we love all this kind of stuff. Anyways, let me finish up. And it just hit me. I remember exactly where I was walking. I was out on Morgan's Point. I try to walk, and it just hit me. And all he said was something simple. 2 places. I heard it twice. All he said was, if you take something easy, all right, that you shouldn't be doing, and that's easy to stop doing. Like, not like a cigarette addiction. Like something, like I'm going to walk to the corner every day and back. I'm just that.
Yeah.
So the thing was, pick something that's really easy to stop doing, that you shouldn't be doing, and start doing a small thing that you should be doing. So you you walk to the corner every day, or you clean your dishes, or you make your bed, or you do, or whatever, or you stop yelling at your wife, or you stop telling your wife that she's a piece of shit, because you know you shouldn't probably do that, right?
I try not to do that.
No,
it doesn't end well.
I mean, we all have these things that we do, right? And you fly off the handle, you get fucking mad, and you're like, fuck you piece
Sylvie's
of
an angel. I wouldn't do that.
something easy, right? And I just like, okay, so yeah, if you just picked one thing that it was easy to quit, that made your life better, that you know you shouldn't do, and you picked one thing that you know it's really easy to do that would make your life better, that you should do, and you started doing that, wow, and that's pretty. So anyways, that was then. But just the other day, well, months ago, he described what I've been suffering with, and I've been really suffering with this newfound position of center right. Some would say alt-right, some would say hard-right, some would say conservative, whatever.
Center, alt,
I think I'm a
hard,
moderate.
They're all different things.
I think I'm a moderate center-right guy now. And all he said was, if you have a lens of seeing life, which used to be left, social justice warrior through and through, left as it gets. Like, there's no more.
Get you, is that,
oh no, there's no more left in Green Party, and I stood for all that stuff.
I don't see them that left these days.
Well, I mean, they're socially left, they're fiscally conservative, so they're right and left, and that's what I loved about the Green Party, because I'm still a lefty. I still think, take care of people, give them a guaranteed annual income, for crying out loud. Put EI and welfare and all these social programs into something, and just say, hey, listen, we're going to give you enough to get by so you don't have to go to crime. All right?
Interesting.
Because if you don't do that, then they come back into the hospitals and the jails and the justice systems, and they cost you 10 times as much as if you just took care of them the first time.
I was interesting. What you just described there was Georgism. It's an economic theory. Actually, this is connected to Monopoly. The game Monopoly originally originated from a game called the Landlord game in 1903. And it was invented to highlight this guy, George, I can't remember his first name, his economic theories. And that basically his whole theory was, you didn't tax income, you taxed property value, right, of all land. And then you distributed that money to everybody.
Well, I'm partially with you there. I say tax pollution.
Right, but
tax
I'm just saying, it's like
when you're a manufacturer and you make this big plastic
take taxes from everything that's bad, and we're going to give it to everybody. And
that's right. That's why the carbon fee and dividends
good.
But
and this is interesting, because this is something I've been thinking a lot about. It's a kind of form of collectivism, and and there's a whole bunch of interesting groups that have kind of done that. You say, look, the value's in the land. You should be able to keep what you personally produce, right? You work hard. You should be able to keep the fruits of that. But the value of the land should go to everybody. So as soon as you're born, you're a shareholder, right? Life comes with that share of the fruits of the land, right? And so it's interesting, because you go back in history, there's all kinds of groups. It's almost like it's a human condition, right? It's almost like, occasionally up pops this, throwback, and it's like movement, which is really our old human condition coming back, the real us, right? And so there's groups like, you go back to the 14th century, there's the Brothers of the Free Spirit. They sound like a bunch of middle-aged hippies, right? And they're all into collectivism, and we're going to use the land, and they were
communal living,
because
stuff
back
like
then there was no atheists, right?
No, everyone was Christian.
And so they would, but you could tell who were possibly the atheists, or possibly could be accused of it, because they were usually denounced as
You're not a believer?
Not in doctrine, no.
No, but do you believe there's something else that helped form the whole universe?
Well, I see it around me. It's light, right? Energy. That's what the universe is, and I assume.
No, but do you believe that the Big Bang,
to do with that.
The Big Bang formed it with no help? Like, there wasn't, like, in my mind,
we don't have the brain size, the cognition to comprehend that.
I think mathematically that it's impossible for the Big Bang.
We're trying to comprehend something that we maybe quite.
Dude, when you stand on the edge of a beach and you look off into the thing, you don't see God. When you look up into the mountains, you don't say, "Man, that just didn't." This
No, I
whole
don't.
planet, the atmosphere,
No,
and
I
everything.
don't. No, I don't.
I think it's mathematically impossible.
I see something
for-
beautiful, and I see, but I don't necessarily attribute anything to it.
I just think
Right.
the mathematical chances of the Big Bang producing a place just like Earth, and just without something else going, okay, here, we'll just...
The chances that there's other Earth-like planets are really high.
Not without a God, there's not.
Because the universe is infinite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and whether or not I can attribute it to God, because God's a concept as well. It's a man-made
oversold,
concept.
oversold,
It's a man-made concept as well. The idea of a God. We have no concept of what.
Why have we always believed in a higher power then?
Because we have to, because we don't understand shit. When you don't understand shit, it's
I
got to be
was
God.
wondering the other day. Can you imagine like Galileo and all these guys, like that was a long time ago. Can you imagine being a human being on the Earth and looking up at the sun or the moon and going, well, I wonder what that is?
Well, back to what I was saying. Right?
There was a point in time when we were like, we didn't know what that big shining light was.
Yeah, so the brothers of the pre-spirit, of course, were denounced as heretics and, then treated accordingly. And then, later on you had groups like I love these guys, the Ravers. And the Ravers used to be, they're in the 16th century. And they were Protestants, supposedly. But that's the least interesting thing about them. They used to be denounced for their sexual practices, which suggests they were a little free and easy, right? And they were called the Ravers. And they were also a kind of like hippie-ish sounding group who sprung up and just said, we're all going to live together. We're all going to live in these big communes. We're going to have lots of fun, right? And they got denounced as heretics and treated accordingly. And then you had the Diggers, right? And the Diggers, it was all about the land. It was like, the land belongs to the people. And they had that idea that they started taking over land, common land, and farming it for the people. And they got oppressed and, treated accordingly. And, so it keeps popping up, this kind of spirit, right? And you see it through history. And I'm sure there's many other examples. I mean, you got all kinds of examples, I'm sure. But and that's sort of like, because we're not individualists. We are come out of families, tribes, collectives, right? We're in it together. So, for me, with politics, it kind of comes down to, are you a collectivist or are you an individualist? And I think that, and it's interesting because I've been thinking about this. We glorify the soldier who gives his life for his platoon, right? We glorify that. We glorify our veterans, and right? That's collectivism, right? It's subsuming the individual for the group, for the good of the group, right? We glorify that when it's the military, right? But when it's in personal life, we don't want it. It's all about me.
Well, we don't want it about the state. The state should never come before the individual, right?
So that's one aspect that I've been thinking about, is that we're kind of hypocritical in that we will glorify certain traits in certain situations and then we will deny them in others, right? And then there's the one where it comes down to empathy, like things like Black Lives Matter or women's gender pay gap or transgender issues. It's like these seem to be the hot button wedge issues that people are using to generate traffic on the internet, basically, to my mind, right? It's like, this is what will get people going. And those issues, come down to me, first off, if you have empathy for other people, you're able to actually think, okay, if I was in your situation and I was feeling the way you're feeling, how would I feel? And can I understand why you feel that way? Empathy. And when you when you have empathy, then everything else is possible, right? Oh, we really understand now how that makes you feel. Now I'm able to not do it, right? So so pronouns. For some people, that's a huge issue. For you and me, it's not an issue. Right? Because we don't demand anything out of the ordinary, because we haven't been pushed to the point where that matters to us, right? We haven't been, discriminated against to the point where we actually make that an issue. Because if it wasn't an issue, you wouldn't be making it an issue, right? So, in my eyes, it all starts with empathy. And I think that the cult of what capitalism has brought is, and what we've seen even take sort of increase more and more in recent decades, is the cult of individualism. And we've got all these social media that we're using, which actually separates us, right? Because we don't, you and I don't sit down and chat, right? Yeah. And it's very much like we're all super connected, but we're all super disconnected.
Yeah, and
right?
lonely.
Right? Yeah. And so there's not this, it's like the technology is amplified it, and this whole cult of the individual. And the more you think about yourself, the less you think about other people.
I'm glad you said that. You know what? When I was feeling sorry for myself and I was having a bad day, my mother used to say, you're probably broke, depressed, down on my, having a bad day and kicking my teddy bear down the hall, as she would say. Well, she was the manager of Remax, so she looked after, 75 agents and in a couple different brokerages. She had Grimsby and St. Catharines. Grimsby was her love. It was kind of like a little tiny boutique shop. In St. Catharines, there were 75 of us, and it was madness, right. And everyone was. She liked her little Grimsby shop. But I'd come in, usually it was at the house, right? And I'd come in, and she'd toss me $20 and go, here. And I want it back this time. And she never got it back. But she did. But she, I always say, well, she never, because she was my mom. She, here's $20. Now, stop feeling sorry for yourself. And she'd give me a figurative kick in the ass and tell me to go out and do something nice for someone else because, idiot. It's not, you get so consumed with yourself, there's no way out. Yeah. It's not about you. And that's what I think you nailed it when you said, it's this individualism and versus collectivism. And, I haven't done a whole, I know when the state becomes number one over the individual and how dangerous that can be, because we've seen where that's gone with Mao Zedong and Hitler, and I can't even say Hitler on YouTube. I shouldn't have said that. But
really?
No, they just demonetize you completely. You think? No. Yeah, absolutely. You cannot say Nazi or Hitler. And these videos, I'm not too worried about getting demonetized because, we talk about...
No one's going to pay to see us.
As soon as you talk about gender issues or whatever... No, they run commercials. I got my first check yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Anyway, so I know how scary it can be when the state becomes the number one thing and the state is over the individual. Yeah. I get, communal living. I get tribes. And I think that if we started out by saying, you know what? Yeah, I'm naturally a little intolerant. I'm naturally a little afraid of people with different color skin, or I naturally don't get with people
that decreases though the more time you spend with them.
Oh, definitely. Right? But this is so deeply bred into our DNA because we came from a yellow tribe and a brown tribe, and when we because we're strangers in our own land and we're happy when we're with our own people. Yeah. But then, back in the day when we met each other for the first time, we didn't have sex with them. We didn't invite them over for dinner. We tried to exterminate them. That's human nature. So I think if we started out by saying, you know what, I come from a long line of tribal...
I don't know if that's very simplistic. I don't know if black and white people in prehistoric times would suddenly meet like that.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was more, they would more have spread right
Chimps
out.
Chimps do the same thing.
How the white people tend to be in the northern hemisphere for, reasons that are obvious. The black people tend to be in the lower equatorial regions, so they're not likely to meet. They're diverging.
Well, we had to meet at some point,
and they certainly had. They met.
It wasn't happy times.
It was met when the slave ships showed up.
Well,
in West Africa, and started taking people to the Caribbean.
One of the times, Yeah, we can go back to Neanderthals, and you can go back further than that, Vikings and stuff like this. Different colors and different religions. So, they killed each other, and we see it in the wild. Chimps, war, each other. Tribes go to war. They protect their perimeter like this, and when they come across a young male that's inside their boundaries, they rip it limb to limb. And then, check this, Ben, I didn't know this, but chimps actually go in organized attacks into other territories. They kill all the males, they kidnap the females, and they bring them back into their tribe, and they take the territory. I'm like,
it's called primeval behavior. We're trying to evolve.
Where do you think we come from?
As a human race, we're trying to evolve past that.
We are, though. Oh, we're way past that.
Right.
And that's why when I look at
because
today,
they do it,
when I look at all
what
these,
I say is great. We seem to be moving away from that kind of behavior. Let's keep it up.
Yes.
Right.
But let's give ourselves some credit for where we've come from too.
Credit
when I see Colin Kaepernick out there trying to convince me that blacks are still oppressed in America today, yeah, there's a racism. Yeah, absolutely. Should we tolerate it? No. Does it happen all the time? Now, I'm not black, so I don't know. But you can't tell me that if you're black, that every single white person you see hates you and treats you badly.
I don't think they believe
the racism that happens is so small. It does it happen? Absolutely.
To you it is, because you don't experience it.
Dude,
right?
No, seriously. If I had a black guy right here,
I got friends who won't go certain places at certain
absolutely.
times.
Okay,
and they'll say to me, I won't go there at that time.
Out of a percentage of interactions with humans, how many of those interactions are racist, would you say, for minority people?
For minority people?
Yeah.
I would have no clue. I wouldn't have stats on that. But what I do know is that it's built into people's, instinctive biases. I see it through, the number of people who give up, right? Human spirit is not necessarily usually their nature to give up unless something bad happens to them, right? And I see a lot of young people of color give up, because they feel like, it's just the odds are so stacked against me. I got no chance of beating this, right?
You mean give up like suicide?
No,
or just give up
in terms of
and become an alcoholic or a drug addict or
right, and just
criminal.
Kind of, because that's
or join a gang. I hear you.
And
so losing hope,
and you see it, and I mean, again, I get an insight. It's very hard to be too cocky about your existence when you see every day so many people experience different kinds of people experiencing different things, and some of them don't make it, some do, but it keeps you very honest. And so when people start talking about issues that they know nothing about, and I hear people pontificating about immigration, I meet immigrants every day, right? New ones. I work with them. I live their struggles with them. I hear people talking about, gender issues.
Okay, so what don't you like to hear about immigration? Let's back up.
What don't I like to hear about it? I don't like to hear misinformation. I don't like to hear misinformed views.
So if I say I'm against illegal immigration, is that racist?
Everyone is against illegal immigration.
Okay. Well, no, they're not.
Not in
the States.
What is illegal immigration?
They just let them come in. No border, no wall, no USA at all. Come on in, everyone. No jails, no ICE, no border patrol.
Is that in the U.S.?
Anywhere. They're coming. 100,000 a month are coming in the States.
Right.
Now, Trump's clamped down on that. And there's border crossings in Canada.
But what you got to understand that what some people call illegal immigration is actually illegal asylum seeking. Legal asylum seeking, right?
How much asylum seeking is coming from Mexico?
From Mexico? Well, they're passing through, right?
Yeah, from Africa.
Yeah.
They pass through 6 countries before they come.
And I know this because I got a lot of contacts in Mexico. And
Mexico's not a bad place to live, is it?
I've seen vacation.
How bad can it be?
No, I've been in central Mexican cities, and I see the immigrants passing through. They're often, you stop at the traffic lights, stop at the intersection. They're there selling you stuff, right? I need money to get to USA or whatever it is they're doing. And Mexico started sending them back. If they don't have...
Did you hear the latest one? Trump is sending the Mexican illegal immigrants to Guatemala.
Guatemala's dirt poor.
I know, and it's way far away, but
no.
talk about 4D chess.
I don't find that doesn't make me smile, because he has no empathy for anybody. People showing up at that border, they're entitled to apply.
Hey, you show up at a checkpoint.
Jim, they're entitled
legal.
to show up there. They're entitled.
That's legal.
Yeah, they are.
Don't
if they
cross
just coming across the border, in order to become a citizen or to get legal status, they have to report to the authorities at some point, right? Otherwise, they're going to be.
Well, they should use a checkpoint. You shouldn't try.
But to me, I don't care because I don't really believe in borders. I think that I think it's all a bunch of shite. It's designed to control our resources and control the people, So I think that the whole idea that there's a border between Mexico and the United States is a joke. So I'm coming from a completely different place.
Yeah, I like my walls.
Yeah, I don't really care about them. I think that
we have walls for a reason.
I think we're a human. We're a human race.
We have fences around our house to keep us
I
safe.
think that I think every single culture on this planet has 95% the same wishes. They want the same things.
Mm-hmm.
They want clean water.
I'm glad you said that,
food.
dude. There's nothing more
safe,
important. I think
right?
we've lost.
But we're
sight. We've lost sight of the whole. And what's it going to take? Like an alien invasion till we get that we're all the same.
The media live and die by clicks. They live and die by advertising. Also, the elites that we have live and die by controlling the media.
Who do you think's responsible for dividing us?
So we got constantly.
Speaking of the media.
I am constantly through social media, through every channel, even the newspaper and the radio, especially, bombarded with divisive issues.
The media
all the time. It's like they constantly keep them divided, because if those fuckers ever get together, we're goners.
I agree completely.
Right? And that's what I see. And I'm operating from that premise, which is, the things that divide us are minimal. It could be a discussion about abortion, right? It could be that's a big issue, but it's not like,
Well, what it does is it makes us forget that we're more alike than we are different. Yeah. It doesn't matter what our language, our culture, our religion, our skin color, nothing matters. We are more like, you can take the most opposite race and put us side by side, and we're the same, other than how we look or talk, and we forget. And so I sometimes fantasize about, and the question I was trying to answer with all this work that I did with the psychological university courses that I watched Peterson in, I was looking for the answers. Why are men and women so polarized? Why are we so far apart? And why do we seem to be at each other's throat more than ever before? Let me finish.
Okay.
And that was the first question. And then the second, and I think the problem with the question is that it's a false assumption, because we aren't actually more divided than we've ever been. I feel like we are. And then the other question was, why are the left and right so far apart with the deeper how do you say chasm?
Because amplifying the extremes and making that seem like the norm,
right,
is the way to keep us divided. The truth is, we all want the same.
Yeah, because most of us are in the middle. We all believe the same thing. It's just these wing nuts on the ends.
Healthcare, right? I mean, in Canada, we've got it. We might not get it when we want it, but we get it, right? And it's free. In the States, they don't have it.
You're as radical as I am. Yeah. I mean, we're both in the middle, pretty much, right?
Yeah,
would you say?
We are. Yeah, I'm radical to it, but at the
we're
same
not
point,
extremists. We're not.
You won't see my social media output isn't political to a great extent. Not these days. It's 99% of what I post out on social media is musical, because that's my passion.
And that's what brings people together, man. Music is the language we all get with.
And if you got nothing to say, play a tune.
Yeah.
And I just use my wall on Facebook. Is basically, if you want to find some good tunes that you're not going to hear anywhere else, that's where you'll find them.
Yeah. And you know me, I'm right with you on there. And it's funny because I tell people, listen, if you think I'm the guy on social media, no. Like, I'm an asshole on social media. I'm angry, I'm pissed off, and I'm posting like you don't know.
Yeah, the stuff you're posting on the stuff when you go after the
passionate,
AOC and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib.
Fuck all those bitches.
You know, at least today you went for a white woman and it was Rapinoe.
I always go for white. I don't care.
You know,
it
looks ugly.
You are. It's got nothing to do with your sex or your skin color.
I'm sitting in my chair and I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh man, this
you know what?
ugly.
It's got nothing to do with them being women or being minorities. It's because they're fucking stupid.
Right, but you call them stupid.
They are
right?
stupid.
But do you know anything about them?
Have you seen a AOC speak? Excuse me.
Yeah, I saw her grilling some farmer executives in Congress.
She
had them
thick.
trembling. No, you think she's thick?
Her cranium's thick.
You know what "cum laude" means?
Huh?
Cum laude. It's Latin. C-U-M
No.
L-A-U-D-E. Cum laude. No. It's a thing they put after your degree to show that you were so highly regarded.
You think school makes you smart?
No, I'm just pointing out.
Okay. She's well educated?
She's well educated.
Okay.
She got herself elected in the U.S. Congress, working as a bartender, Hispanic, from the Bronx. Does that sound like somebody who's stupid? You know, somebody who can stand up in Congress.
But you're going to tell me that Trump's stupid.
Tell you that Trump's stupid?
He became leader of the greatest country in the world.
Did I say he was
No,
stupid? I think he's cunning.
Yeah.
I think he's cunning.
Yeah.
I don't think he's great intellect. I don't think that he...
I think he's a stable genius.
Yeah, he does too.
You know,
I don't think he's an intellectual.
I just gave him room.
He's cunning.
I gave him room, and
he's playing the media right now. This whole Iran thing, nobody's talking about impeachment, right? Nobody's talking
come
about
on! You
it.
don't think he fabricated
this
that?
whole thing is just a show to stop us worrying about it.
He needs to bomb the embassy. They killed people. They killed a contractor in the embassy. You don't fucking come on our soil and fucking, it will bring the wrath of God down on you.
Up down there for a long time.
Huh?
What the hell are they doing over there, Jim? Why are they there?
Well, he's trying to bring them home. He's trying to get them out of Afghanistan and stuff like that.
He's trying to get them out of there by doing what he's doing. Yeah. I don't really want to get into discussing that guy because he's not my boss, and he won't be around for long.
He's going to do another term.
No, the Iranians are going to get him, mate.
Oh, you think they're going to?
Oh, they ain't done. That's just a show to make themselves look weak.
Don't you think they would have taken him out already? If it was that easy?
No. This is the
This is in the 60s.
He's
not JFK. They're not going to shoot him in a motorcade.
Well, what do you think the chances are that they've already smuggled a drone into the United States?
Not very good.
You don't think it's very good?
You know what?
How hard would it be to get one?
Dude, I'm with you.
Right?
I'm with you. I said he wouldn't make it to inauguration.
Look, they're not going to do it now. They'll wait till the election campaign when it really hurts him. This is the Persians you're talking about.
I hope you're wrong, man, because I don't want to believe we live in a world like that.
It's over. That was a lame show what they put up there the other day. I don't think he's
that bad. I don't want to believe that we live in a place where a democratically elected leader of a free country can be just fucking taken out.
Well, he just took out their top general, right? They vowed to.
He was a fucking madman terrorist.
They've put an $80 million bounty on his head. So what do you think they intend to do? But that was just to avoid escalating a war. But now they're going to try and let things calm down, and they'll serve it cold, man. You watch. It might not come.
You know
for
what?
A year.
You know what? What I'm just thinking of right now. Like, if we really knew what the fuck was going on, like covert black ops and stuff like that. If we really knew how
who shot down that damn airplane.
Well, we know who shot that down.
Do we?
Yeah, they already copped to it.
There's several cops. They haven't copped to it.
No,
they haven't copped to it.
Well,
no, the U.S. have said they've done it. The U.S. said they did.
Canada said. Who else?
The U.S. said it did. The Iranians aren't saying it. The Ukrainians aren't saying it. The Ukrainians are investigating.
Somebody else came over.
I think we should let the investigation happen.
The Iraqis. But are the Iraqis in bed with the
Iraqis or the Iranians?
No, the Iraqis said today.
What has it got to do with them? What do they know?
Their intelligence said that these guys upped their missile defense systems after the drone attack, and they shot the plane down by mistake.
We'll
that just came out today.
We'll see.
Like,
we'll see.
it sounds reasonable to
it's
me.
It's possible, yeah. But
well, you're going to kill a bunch of your own patriots.
But this is a good way to make things awkward for Iran, right? If you were like,
Iran's a state sponsor of terrorism,
yeah,
though, right?
I know it is. Yeah.
Like,
the Iranian regime is
right.
Right.
The people aren't. Well,
that's not why. That's why it's not a reason to destroy the country.
Well,
those people.
When I say we, I mean the states. They're pretty good at destroying countries, man. Like,
there they are.
A bunch of Saudi Arabians fly planes into the Trade Center, and we bomb Afghanistan.
Look, I won't listen to anyone moralizing about people sponsoring terrorism and Middle East dictators while our closest ally is the freaking Saudis, and that bin Salman. It's not. Doesn't matter who it is. That family. You got a royal family that rules a dictatorship.
Do you want to talk about rape culture and oppressive women?
Right.
Oh my!
As long as you are in bed with those people, don't moralize to me about the Iranians and the Syrians and the.
Why do you think
Iraqis.
none of these feminist, lefty, wacko social justice warriors are concerned about Saudi? Like, if you want to talk about,
well, they are concerned about.
Well, they don't talk about it. They're always
talking.
No,
they can't go
and this
there.
is
They'll
why.
get killed.
But this is why I hate on AOC and the squad so much.
What?
Is because all they do is bring fucking problems and talk about how bad they hate America. It seems like.
I think they do.
I
think that's hard. That's the
extreme.
extreme.
You know what I don't see from the Democrats? Solutions. All I see is fucking hates. Like, I hate my country.
For the
and
solutions because they're
just saying,
got.
look, problems.
Jim,
But they got no remedies.
No, they're bringing policies. There's all kinds of bills that they're bringing forward.
Yeah. Take your guns, limit your speech.
No.
Well, you know where that got we saw that in Germany.
Like healthcare for all is the big one. Bernie Sanders' bill, right? Which apparently the United States, the greatest nation on earth, is the only nation on earth that can't figure out how to provide free healthcare to its people. That's a huge indictment of their system. Huge. Again, they should go away and fix themselves before they start trying to tell the rest of the world how they should organize a country.
Yeah, clean your own backyard before you
Right.
start complaining about everyone else's.
Absolutely. The poverty in the United States rising all the time, and it's the richest country in the world. Yeah. You might say, look at all the great things capitalism has done for people. It's raised everybody up.
Damn straight. And lately, it's brought more people out of poverty.
But
the UN had a goal to halve poverty by 2015,
and
they accomplished it 2 years early.
But people are paying almost twice as much of their income in housing costs now than they were 30 years ago.
Taxes, you mean?
Housing costs. Rent.
Oh, I see.
Right?
And taxes. Taxes gone up too, right?
Not that much. Not that I've ever seen a tax cut on my paycheck. All these tax cutting governments getting elected, I've never seen a tax cut in my paycheck. I don't know who's getting these tax cuts. It's not me. But, yeah.
Well, you're not middle class. You're upper.
I'm upper middle. I'm not. Really?
You're not Trudeau's middle class.
You seen my car? It's a 2007. I think it's a 2007 Mazda. Yeah, I'm really rich. Doing great.
Excuse me, down the wrong. Just learning how to drink. All right, we're going to take a break.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
And play some music.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to switch the cameras over. What do we got here? Papa Skin Freak, Livin In.
That's my band. That's our
Ben Wilby.
latest tune.
Now, how old's this one?
It's about a couple of months since that was finished off. Yeah.
20 hours ago, it says. You just upload it?
I did. Yeah, I uploaded it last night.
Tell me about it. What's it all about?
It's just the band I'm in Hamilton. Hamilton and Burlington. A bunch of old friends of mine.
How old's the track?
We wrote it this year, and then we recorded it earlier this year, and we've been mixing it, and that's the latest version of it.
Oh, man. I had you off camera the whole time. Perfect. Oh, what happened? Did I move the thing? Oh.
Anyways, it's just a flavor of what we do, and we'll be playing a lot of shows this summer.
All right, I'm going to play this. We'll switch over.
Slip
and
over
then
now.
we'll come back and try some more trash. If I had known, I would have set up the speakers. Who's singing?
My buddy Andrew. He's this guy. Andrew.
So you're not singing, though.
No, I'm playing guitar.
Looking style.
I wanna be downtown. I'm giving it. I spent another plan. So I win again. I try living it.
Thanks. All right, so start over. Quick story. What's this one?
That's a live show from like '86. It's I actually don't own that. That was recorded by our old manager.
Oh, you don't own this stuff?
This particular recording, I don't. But the songs, yeah, along with the rest of the band. But
Just watch that leg. It's right there.
yeah, he paid for it to be recorded, and he's actually selling that on the internet
The
somewhere.
Royal Assassin. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Do you get the rights to the physical copy?
That recording,
you don't
he
own
owns the
any of
rights
it?
to that recording because
Oh.
it's a live recording, right?
Oh, right.
You know, it's not a. It's
Now,
not a very
if you're a
good gig.
musician, you come on my show and you play a song, who owns the song? I do. It's
he
my
owns.
fucking-
he owns the.
you
you
come
own
on
the recording.
You
You own
you
the
come on
recording.
my show, yeah.
Not. The
Oh
song.
yeah, not the song. But that song, that recording of that song is me. I
Yeah,
own that,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
can't come to me after and go, I played your show, take that shit
Well,
down.
if he's smart, he'll do a deal with you beforehand
yeah.
and say, "Hey, any money you make off this video with my song in it, I want a piece."
Oh.
Right?
I thought it was just a normal. If you go on the Tonight Show and you play, you don't get a piece.
But they get a fee.
Yeah, they get
They
appearance
they
fee.
don't own that. No,
Yeah.
they get a fee, and the TV
Appearance
company
fee,
own it.
and then the TV keeps everything.
yeah.
I had someone come on my show.
Yeah, this is the very good one. This one.
Oh, well, what should we play? Let's play something good. I had someone come on my show. They played a song. Then they fucking went to YouTube and give me a copyright strike.
I'll give you one.
Saying they claim copyright.
Yeah.
How can they do that?
Well,
That's my show, man.
Yeah, well, it's their song. I mean, I guess you got to clarify things before.
No, I think if I fight it, I'll get it back.
Oh yeah. Let's find this. There it is. I think that's the one.
What a dummy! I didn't put the fucking link on. Idiot. I posted it on YouTube today too.
Not that one. Yeah. YouTube. There you go. That's what I need.
I should have had. Have you ever heard of Bonaparte?
Yeah.
Is he a genius or what?
I haven't really listened to him.
He's fucking beautiful, man. Love that kid.
That's a good one. There you go. Okay. Is this thing live still?
No, it's not live. We're recording, but
Okay.
I can cut whatever I want out.
All right.
That's why I get the smokes out. I don't broadcast. I don't usually smoke cigarettes on the air. I'll
Yeah.
smoke weed with my boys. I
Right.
get high with them, but
Do an Elon Musk
I don't
thing.
want anyone seeing me smoking cigarettes, man. I need to get a girlfriend.
Elon Musk moment, right? Smoking a joint.
This is it.
Yeah, this is a good one. It's about I think it's about a woman who's hangs out on the beach. She's a surf chick, and she's getting older, right? And she can't get away with things that she used to. And no one really cares anymore. It's kind of, no one's gonna drive you now. No one who cares.
Who's the singer?
This is the guy who passed away 3 weeks ago, Chris Scott, an old friend of mine. We played together.
Wow,
in
he's got a Lou Reedy thing going.
Yeah, he played in three. We played in 3 different bands over 10 years. And
Wow, he's a good singer, right?
yeah, Yeah, good songwriter too.
He wrote it?
Yeah, with me. I
What's
did
his
all
name?
the guitars. Chris Scott. Yeah. He wrote the melody and the lyrics, so he's going to get most of the money.
The other thing is, you know what I like? I fucking turn that camera on to put the fireplace on. I don't like looking at myself.
Right.
Like, you make this into a podcast, it's fucking genius because you can't see the people. You have to imagine
You have to
it.
listen to them. Yeah. And that's
Because it makes the
podcasts are
conversation
good.
more meaningful,
You
I
focus
think.
more on what's being said
Yeah.
instead of looking at them.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, who wants to look at you and me?
I'm a radio guy,
Right?
man.
A couple of bald white guys talking about abortion.
And you can't see me smoking. Filthy, dirty fucking rotten habit. Fuck. I hate smoking. It does nothing for you.
Yeah.
And I'm allergic to nicotine.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm phlegmy all the time. I got big chunks of phlegm coming out. All the time.
Yeah.
Which is good, I guess, because it's coming out at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I like his voice, man. Yeah, who else am I hearing there?
Jim Morrison.
No. Oh, Iggy Pop.
Yeah, maybe a bit of that, yeah. He did like Iggy Pop.
You even got the...
That's a photograph of each of our faces, then
Oh, yeah?
ripped up and then reconstituted.
Yeah. Which
Right?
one's you?
My eye is the left eye.
Okay.
Look from where you're looking.
Looks like a chick's eye.
No, I was cute when I was 20 in my
This one?
20s, Jim. Yeah. I was cute when I was in my 20s.
You're still cute to me,
I was
baby.
fighting the girls off.
Yeah? Seriously? Were you
I
good looking
was a lead
kid?
guitar player in a rock band.
Fucking A.
Who was signed to a label. Right?
Yeah?
Yeah, that was quite good.
Okay, so give me the quick history. Start at the beginning. So
The beginning.
London, England,
Yeah.
till 8 years old, and then
I
you
was
got to
born
tell me.
there, and we moved around a lot.
So your parents
Like, by
were
the time-
together until how long? How old were you when they split?
I was 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what year were you born?
64.
64.
Yeah, in London.
So you're
So we
well
moved,
older
we
than
moved
me.
around a lot, but we were basically London centric, and then we went abroad. When I was about 5 years old, I must have been. We went abroad, and my dad went. My mum and dad kind of split up for a little while. My dad, I was 5. My sister was 6, and my dad and my sister went to Morocco.
So what's abroad? What do you mean?
Abroad. Oh, left the country.
Okay.
We went, yeah.
All right.
So, my dad went to Morocco with my sister, and my mom took me to Afghanistan.
What?
Yeah.
Dude!
Yeah, in 1971.
What the fuck?
Right. And,
For what?
Well, it's a long story. She probably wouldn't appreciate me saying too much, a lot
would?
about it. But
Who
anyway,
wouldn't?
we went
Who wouldn't
across
appreciate?
Europe. We were in a van with a couple of other people, and we drove across Europe. I can remember all kinds of places, staying in weird houses in Germany, and we slept on a cargo ship one night in Hamburg, I believe. I remember traveling down through Greece and Turkey. Big change as soon as you hit Turkey. And then on through Iran into Afghanistan. Wow. Okay, and we stayed in Afghanistan for a while. And then there was an accident. We were driving down the road, and this old man stepped out from behind a bus, and they knocked him down. So the police obviously come, and it's foreigners who have now knocked down this old guy, and he died, right? So they took all everyone's passports away. Right, so now we're stuck in Afghanistan. And I'm like, at this point now 6 years old, because it's been 6 months since we traveled over there. So we're now stuck there for a few months in Kabul in Afghanistan. We can't go anywhere. So my mum decides, oh, you're going to go to school. Well, there's only one English language school in Kabul in 1971. It was the US Embassy in Kabul. So I actually went to school in the US Embassy with all the kids of the US diplomats. Right?
Wow.
And I was there for like 2 or 3 months, because my mum wanted me to go to school. Right? I was 6 years old. And and then my mum, everyone got their papers back. right? Everything was settled. Everyone was free to go. And of course, my mum had no money to fly back, but she happened to be friends with the singer, Donovan, old friend. Called him up, hey Don, I'm stuck in Afghanistan with my son.
Where's he?
He's in England. I'm stuck in Afghanistan with my son, and can you help out? Booked her plane tickets, right? Via, I think we flew to Pakistan from Afghanistan. No, we took the bus. That's right, we took the bus from Pakistan to Afghanistan through the Khyber Pass. And then we flew to Tehran. And then from Tehran, we flew to London. First class. Went from Tehran to London as well, on the courtesy of Donovan.
6 years old.
Yeah.
Flying with mom in the front of the plane.
Right? So that, I ended up back in England.
It's amazing because I don't remember anything from my childhood hardly.
Yeah.
But
and then I was back in London, well, close to London.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I ended up getting a scholarship to this private school in the country.
So, yeah, okay, so quickly, this 11, would you call it?
11 plus exam in England. Yeah, everyone takes that exam. And in those days, it decided whether you went to like the state school, which they used to call the secondary modern, which is basically the trade school, or you went to the grammar school, which is like for the bright kids, or if you were really good, you got a scholarship to private school, right? So I did this exam. I didn't.
How about cost? Is it state sponsored? Oh yeah, private school.
Yeah, the schools.
So you get a scholarship. It's paid.
The scholarships are funded by different bodies. The one that I got was sponsored by.
So this is
the local
only
authority.
based on. So this, it's not classist, but it's. How do you say it?
Academic achievement.
What do you call it when you class people by their IQ? Which
it's
is really
streaming,
touchy thing.
Isn't it? It's streaming, right? What they do is I don't think it's an IQ test. It's an exam which you're going to have a written portion, which is like comprehension. You're going to have to read a piece of
so
writing,
it's general,
right?
Yeah,
And then you're going to have to answer questions about
which
it,
is much different
right?
than an IQ test.
And then there's math, right? And then there's general knowledge, and there's history, and you do all these things. Wow. I don't know. Everyone did it at 11. It was
so
a
were
big
you
deal.
were you a good student? Did you?
I wasn't a great student. I kind of was the kid looking out the window, dreaming about what was going on outside.
So you just you retain easily, or your parents?
Bright. I was really curious.
Oh, okay.
I would consume books of facts.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, you always want me on your quiz team.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the thing, and so I was just naturally curious and absorbed a lot of information. But I wasn't a good student, and I was always getting told off by the teachers. But the teachers liked me because they knew I was bright, right? And when it came to doing the test,
you aced them.
Yeah. And I also knew it was important and it mattered to my parents. Right? And also I was competitive. My sister had passed, right? My sister had done older sister, 1.5 years older, right?
How many siblings?
Oh, now I've got 4.
No, but
then I was just me and my sister. Yeah, my brother was born when I was 8, so he's a little younger than me. So
same parents.
Same parents.
So you ended up with 3 from the same parents.
Yeah, and then my dad had a couple of kids when he was older than you, 56.
I love your dad. Can I meet him? Yeah. I need a mentor.
Yeah, he met a younger girl, and she wanted to have kids, so he had 2 more. I got 2 little sisters, 15 and 19. Yeah, in fact, I think Claire turned 20. Not yet, but yeah.
How old are they now?
15 and 19.
Oh, they're 15, 19 now.
Yeah, it's great.
Interesting.
Love it.
So he was 60.
He was around 56 when the first one. Yeah.
Okay, so you write the test. You're in the top 5%.
Get the scholarship at the private school. So now,
which is where?
So it's Truro in the southwest of England. It's a Methodist boys' school.
Religious?
Well, Methodist. So in the Celtic areas of England, like Cornwall and Wales, you got a strong Methodist tradition. It kind of grew out of the Celtic Church, because the Celtic Church was kind of subsumed by the Catholic Church, but they still had separateness, right? So when the Reformation happened, the Methodist Church really took hold then, and so it was like a boys' school for the county, and it was the scholarships were offered right by the local authority, paid for the kids who were in the top 5% of the county exam, right? And so I got it. And it's funny thing, going to that school is funny because I'm going to school with kids who are all 99% of them are paying to go there. Their parents or somebody is paying for them to go there, right? And I was reminded of it every day by the teachers.
What?
You're lucky to be here, Wilby. I'm thinking, I'm not lucky to be here. I'm here on merit. I'm the only one in this room who's here on merit, right? And I knew that, but they would rub it in every day. You're lucky to be here because you don't belong.
Why?
Right?
Status?
Right? You're from the wrong class, right? Working class kid with hippie parents, right?
Oh, I
right?
see. So you get the scholarship. It's paid for, but you're going to school, and now it's class. Oh, I see. So they're all rich kids in private school.
It wasn't their kids. The kids were fine.
Right.
Right? Kids.
But you're ended up in a class
teachers,
system.
no. Right? They're
I
conscious of
thought
it.
the way you were talking is like all the bright kids went to the bright school and everyone didn't have to pay, and it was based on merit, not class.
No, the private school
is all about class.
Yeah, it's just that the local authority.
But you slipped in
the
because
local
you were
authority
bright.
will pay for a certain number of kids to go every year, right?
Okay.
Girls and boys, right? So
now what grade's this?
that would be grade 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh, so high school.
Yeah. So
So you grew up in the public school system until then?
yeah.
And then 11, you get the test. But then in high school, you go to the private school.
It's a Methodist boys' school, so it's all boys. Chapel every morning.
Mm-hmm.
Rugby, cricket, rugby, football, soccer,
Yeah.
athletics. I had this teacher, math teacher, and he would he would punish you by giving you laps.
Yeah.
So if you were late for your homework, that's 6 laps of the track, which was a mile of
Cool.
that track.
Perfect.
Every freaking lunchtime, I was up on the track doing laps for this bugger. Marley Monks, he was called. He used to be a runner, but he kind of lost his shape.
And so what was the penalty for?
Usually talking in class.
Mouthing off. Just being
a
just
smart
being a kid.
ass. Being
Being a
late,
boy.
do whatever. No. He went out of his way. I'm pretty sure he had a deal with the rugby coach.
To send him some talent.
Get Wilby fit. Right?
The conspiracy to get you fucking on the rugby team.
I was fit as a fiddle. I mean,
Yeah, you always.
right?
Yeah.
And on the rugby field. So it was funny, though. That was how I got fit, was from punishment.
Wow.
And I started to enjoy it. I was like, I'm going to go run a mile. No problem. For lunch.
Done this 6 times this week.
Lots of
I
stamina.
did my punishment before I got in trouble. I already banked my mile, man.
He would come up and check on me, too. He would come
Make sure
up
you're
and-
running.
Yeah.
Well, that's something we don't get much these days.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the story of that.
And then, so what?
Well, after I left high school,
This isn't you anymore, right?
no, I don't know what that is.
Was that you before?
I don't know what.
The last song.
I wasn't paying attention. I didn't
Oh,
hear
shit,
it.
we're listening in living color. I thought it was you. Royal Assassins? No, Under My
Yeah, it
Nose,
was. Yeah.
1988.
Yeah. Oh, that was the one we just listened to. Yeah, that was the one.
Okay, so when's music come in?
About then,
High
yeah.
school?
Well, I started playing guitar when I was about 11.
What's-
Learning. It's
Well,
really
what age you going to high school at?
11.
11.
Yeah, in England it's different system,
Oh, okay.
right? So at 11 you go to high school. I was ahead in my cohort because my birthday's in September, so
Me
I was
too,
always
yeah.
the youngest kid in the class.
Me too, yeah.
Right? So, by the time I was 16, I was out of there, and I was playing music. In
Oh,
bands,
shit. Okay.
moved to London, back home.
Yeah.
And,
What was your scene?
We lived in a street.
Because I always like a fucking.
This is
you know,
1980s.
You should be a skinhead type of guy,
it's
no?
It's 1981.
Did you go that way?
No.
No, you didn't go for the punk rock?
I was into the punk rock, not skinhead thing.
Oh, but Skinhead had their own brand of music, didn't they? Or was punk rock kind
Punk
of...
and skin music was slightly different and different culture.
Because
But
normally you think of...
they're close, but they're different, whole different attitude. But no, I was this is 1981 London, so it's rough and it's austere. It was not a good time. We were in deep recession.
Oh.
There was youth unemployment was through the roof. There was nothing. The government, Thatcher had got in. She cut everything, cut all government programs. Everybody I knew was unemployed, and we just left high school. There's no jobs. Our parents are unemployed, right? And the housing, there was no housing. So anyway, there was this street of squats in London.
What's that?
It's squats.
Squatters?
Yeah. So there was large
Like
air.
tent
What it is the local authorities had stopped renovating certain buildings and said they're no good, and we're just going to let them rot. And there was all these homeless people who need housing, right? And they can't get housing, so they just moved into them, right? And there's lots of them in London. It's historical. And some of them still exist. Some of them have been turned into housing co-ops. So anyway, we found, my sister had found this street and this house in this street. The whole street was squats. And there was one big one at the end, which was the Rastas. The Rastas owned it. And apparently the legend is that Bob Marley stayed there when he came to London.
Well, the Rastafarians is what you're saying. Not the name, not the Rasta family.
Yeah, the Rasta House, we used to call it. That's where they were. And this whole street full of punks and hippies and old buses and broke down cars, and everyone was kind of like, living for free. Someone hooked up the hydro. Somehow we had free electricity. Somehow we had water, and we lived there, couple of years, It went on after I left. I moved because I joined a band that were in another city, but we lived there, and people's carried on living there, and eventually they did a deal with the council. The council said, we'll rehouse you. The local authority said, we'll rehouse you all, if we can come in and demolish these places. So they did a deal, and they all got rehoused in nice places. And now you go there, it's been demolished, and they've built new buildings, condos, and they've sold them. But there's videos of that place. St Agnes Place, South London. There's videos. It's got a Wikipedia page about it. And there's there's a video page.
What do I search?
St Agnes Place.
Saint, spell it out.
ST.
ST period.
Agnes Place, London. There's a Wikipedia page about it. There's videos
St.
on
Agnes Fountain, The Burning Train, full movie, life story.
Well, not on YouTube. I would Google it.
Oh, I thought you said we could find
There is a video somewhere on YouTube. I've seen it.
St. Agnes what?
Place. London. Oh, you're looking on YouTube, aren't you?
Yeah, I thought you said I could find a video there.
There is somewhere. I don't know what it's called, but I've seen it. It's a video of a street party around the time that I was there. But I think it might be linked to the Wikipedia page.
Okay.
There's a lot of legendary squats in London. So we were 17, 18 years old, no prospect of getting work. Margaret Thatcher came in and abolished student grants. So it's like you got no chance of making money. You got to take a loan to go to school. Right? It was dystopia to us, right? We were like, oh, everything that we've been told that we were going to grow up to do and have is snatched away. It started when she took away the milk when I was in elementary school. She was the education minister, and we used to get free milk every day. Little bottle of free milk, every kid, right? She's cancelled it, and they called her Thatcher the Milk Snatcher. That was my first encounter with Margaret Thatcher, at like 9 years old or something like that, 10 years old. And she was education minister. And then she got elected prime minister, and then she really went to work. makes me laugh when I hear people on the right idolize Thatcher.
You lived it.
I lived it, mate. I know. Yeah, I was on the far end of that social engineering project that they ran on
Experiment.
England, that they ran, and they're still running.
Yeah.
In England. Oh yeah, austerity. They've got austerity still in England. It just stopped for 5 minutes because they had an election. Remember, the government announced an end to austerity next year.
So what's austerity? How do you?
They want to cut taxes. They don't want to pay
Services.
taxes, right? The rich, the really rich people who paid the most taxes, percentage, not percentage-wise, but because they make more money.
Yeah. They want to pay
Want
less.
to minimize what they pay, and they have the money to control these politicians, and so they're going to push that narrative that we've got to cut taxes.
So austerity is.
And
what?
so austerity is basically, well, we've got to cut back on education, we've got to cut back on public programs, we've got to cut welfare, we're going to have to cut
Because we
any
want to
money
cut
that
taxes.
we're doing, any training programs that we're funding, education, you're going to have to pay for it. We might have to start charging you more for your health care. And that's austerity, right?
Okay.
And then, and what happens is the economy gets deflated even more as a result of it. Any economist will tell you, austerity politics is not great economics.
No, because
What did they do during the crash in 2008? They started printing money like it was going out of style. All of a sudden, it wasn't austerity, not for the banks, right? We're going to keep printing money. And who's paying for that? Who paid for that? We did, right?
And the banks got all the fucking cash. All the fat
got all
cats
cash.
got all their golden
Right.
parachutes.
None of it trickled down. Anything it trickled down was something else. Right? So, yeah, I don't believe the capitalist myth. I don't.
Well, I mean, you have to look at the bigger picture. I think, as far as systems go, we know communism's not going to work.
Well, no, we know it's
Yeah.
not going to.
You have to have a mix. And if we had a straight capitalistic society, we wouldn't have any market regulations. We wouldn't have any taxes. We wouldn't have any social services.
be a
We wouldn't have
problem.
any cops. We wouldn't have. It'd just be every man for themselves. It was straight capitalism.
Well,
So
that's
even
kinda-
cops
yeah,
is a
it's a
socialist
liberal-
idea. Transit, like we do have a lot of socialism.
We do.
So it's a mixed
but we're blind
system.
to it, right? When then we start calling, like I've heard, what was it lately? I think, somebody was calling, for example, CNN far left. Oh, it was something you posted. It was a Daily Wire, which is a far right publication.
Well, I don't think
Right.
I don't. I wouldn't say CNN's far left. They're just
But that's what
socialist left.
You didn't
Yeah.
say that. The
Yeah.
clip said that, right?
Okay.
I saw it on the strip line. A far left publications broadcaster CNN was the lead of the story.
Really? Okay.
Right?
Sometimes
I read
most
it,
of the time
and
I
I'm
don't-
like, really?
Yeah, well, they're
Because to
liberal.
me, they're center right, right?
Oh, okay.
Right? They're establishment to the core. They're Washington
I see.
establishment
Yeah,
centric
right. Uh-huh.
to the
I got
core.
you. Yeah.
I see them as a problem too, but from a
Right.
completely different angle.
Right. No, I get you.
Whereas the right's calling
That's
them
one of
far
the-
left. And I'm standing over here on the far left going, no, they're not. Right?
Yeah, because you're on the far. Well,
They're
not the
closer
far
to
left,
you.
but you're left. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
wow.
what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'm enjoying about Trump. I think is because he seems so anti-establishment. Like he's really saying "fuck you" to
he's
everyone.
anti-establishment. I think he's got a.
He's not a.
think he's
not,
got
no,
a-
don't. I
he's
said that
got a
wrong.
beef.
He's not an establishment guy. Is what
No,
I'm
and I
saying.
think that's
He's
what
not
that
like
drives his animosity. Because he was always excluded, right, from Washington society. He
Yeah.
was always that
The
kind
NFL.
of nouveau riche guy who
Yeah.
got his money from his dad. And he's kind of like always been like that, and he's always been a bit brash and tasteless, and so I think he's always been treated that way.
right.
So now he's the big dog,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
You can see it. That's it's like his payback time, right?
Fuck you, everyone. Look
That's
at me.
what it is. So I don't think he's anti-establishment. I think
No,
he's
definitely.
pro-Trump,
Yeah.
right?
Definitely.
I think he's sticking it to the establishment because
Right.
they're the ones who excluded him, like the NFL. He's
Yeah.
going after the NFL any chance he gets.
Oh, yeah, because he's so bitter.
He's bitter, right?
He wanted those Giants so bad. He'll own the Giants after he's done, probably. He's going to make so much money when he's done being president.
I don't know how much money he's going to make in jail. We'll see. Whether he'll even make it, because I honestly believe the Iranians are going to get him.
Can't say that. Yeah.
I think they're going to get him.
Well, like I said he wouldn't make an inauguration day, so he's proved me wrong many times over on that. But okay, so Rockstar. When did the
Rockstar?
No, you just said, "Hey, I was a musician.
Oh right, yeah.
I was a good-looking kid."
So what happened was, I'm in London.
Guitar
I'm in
player.
London, and I meet this guy because one of the guys who was living in the house, his brother comes up from another city to visit him, and he's a drummer. And he finds out I'm a guitar player, and he's like, "Oh, I got a band. We need a guitar player. Our guitar player's leaving. Do you want to come down and try out?" So I was like, "Yeah, all right." So I went down there. It's a couple hours drive. Went down there, loved it, loved the city, liked the band. They wanted me, so I stayed. Went back to London, got my stuff. I remember when I left London, I had one travel case, like a chest, travel chest, and that was all my possessions, and a ghetto blaster, and a guitar. That was it. Anyway, I went down to London, to Bristol, and played with this band for about a year or two. Played a few festivals, did some demos. I was really learning to be in a band, and played a lot of those bad gigs that you play in the early days, having those equipment nightmares because you haven't got your shit together. And I remember playing one gig where the drum kit was sliding across the stage every time the drummer hit the bass drum. And I had to stand. Well, no, the bass player actually did it. He stood with his foot
on the bass drum.
On the bass.
So it wouldn't slide. I've seen a guy on stage fighting the kicker.
That's why drummers always have carpets, right?
Yeah. Or rubber feet or whatever. Okay.
So anyway, so that was that. And then that kind of band kind of fizzled out. And I was looking for another band. And I was in a music store and I saw this sign on the wall. And it just said...
Come on. It's just a story right out of the book.
Sign on the wall.
You got to write a book.
In the music store, it said...
Dude, have you ever thought...
Yeah, I thought about it. I'm too lazy.
Adderall.
And
I heard it works great.
It said psycho funk guitar player
Come
required.
on. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's me. At least that's what I aspire to be.
Yeah.
Right. So I called him up, and it was this band.
You rang him up.
I rang him up.
Isn't that what you guys say?
Yeah, I rang him up. I'm speaking Canadian now.
I rang him up on the telly.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a TV.
I called him up, and it was Chris, the guy who was singing there, and he was like, "Yeah, we got a band. We need a guitar player." Again, same old story. Our other guy quit.
Yeah.
So I joined those guys, and I stayed with them 8 years. We did. We got a record deal. Did a couple of LPs and a single. That record
What's a
company,
record deal look like?
It wasn't great record company. It was a little record company in London owned by this guy called Clive Solomon, and he had a bit of money because they had a few bands signed. One band that was on that label when we were there were Pulp. You remember Pulp? Love of the Common People. They're huge in England. Yeah,
great tune.
Yeah, so that's Pulp. Well, back before that, they were on this rinky-dink label with us, and. And then they signed a band who were a bit bigger than everyone else, right? Called the Spaceman 3. And they went all in. They went all in on the Spaceman 3, the record label. So we're coming at them with all these great songs, like our best stuff yet. And they're like, oh, well we're concentrating on the Spaceman right now. We might see about that next year, right?
Okay.
And we're like, oh, okay. See you later. So we just walked.
hard times back again. Almost hanging with the freaks who's hard plus again. Lulla gagging with the thumbs turned down again. Fly stones back again, hearts on fire again. Yeah, we're living in the hard times back again. Someone living in a snafu world again. Who's about to break the back door latch again? Slide rules back again, balls on deck again. Don't stop living, high five living. Don't release the line when you're vulnerable inside. Don't stop living, high five living. Don't release the line when you're vandalized inside. On the lone stool back again, crap shoes flying again, hopes on luck again. Yeah, we're living in the hard times back again. Mama slipping on her full-time lips again. Stop a fool who try to be so smart again. MJ's black again, slides on fire again. Don't try living it. High fives limited. Don't release a lie when you're brutalized inside. Don't start living it. High fives limited. When you're brutalized inside. Yeah, we're living in the hard times back again. Excuses given for the so mess again. Mama stepping on the war zone back again. Slide stones back again. Hearts on fire again. Yeah, we're living in the hard times back again. Mama's tea loving on the hot stove back again. Papa's skipping on his lone job back again. Hats on tight again. Hopes on love again.